Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are giving you highlights of the season so far. Rounds 2 through 9. We only have, obviously, 6 highlights. We missed out on Australia, sadly. I failed to capture that, and then we've got nothing for Spain or Monaco. Those races did not go well at all. So, without any further ado, let's send it out for the highlights from Bahrain. That was our finish from Bahrain, which was our only finish outside of the points so far this season. I believe it was 11th place finish or something like that. We moved now on to Shanghai, which was a wonderful race for us. And we had the saving grace of the rain as we came towards the finish of the race. We most likely would have been caught by, I think it was a McLaren and a Racing Point. They easily would have caught us, and the rain came and helped us out in this race. And now, the highlights. And that was a P9 finish in Shanghai. Like I said, the rain was hugely, immensely helpful for us, and we may have angered Haas a little bit with their driving there. It is also, as I can now recall, the only race that had rain so far this season. The only race we've ran in the rain so far. That's more than likely going to change as we get later into the season, I assume, but so far, it's been all dry. So now is Azerbaijan, the best race we've had so far this season. The car was fantastic for this race. The power upgrades, we had just gotten in a drag reduction upgrade for this race, a big one that really, really helped. We had a great qualifying position. I think we qualified 11th, ended up starting 9th after a couple grid penalties. But here is the highlights from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Right for the pinnacle of motorsport.
We ended up bringing it home P3 there with a little bit of damage right at the end. We made contact with Hamilton and Gasly, but we managed to hold them off and come home P3, bottom step of the podium. That was a fantastic race. The next two races after it, though, were not so great. Catalunya and Monte Carlo both ended in DNFs, and both were not pretty, and both were very early in the race. In both races, we technically finished 20th. Excuse me. So we were not thrilled with where we were, and we decided let's just pack things up and hold on to what we can do and move on to Canada and see what we can pull off there. Canada was a good race, another long track that played to our strengths. Without any further ado, though, the highlights from the Canadian Grand Prix.
You were told into the race.
And the Canadian Grand Prix was a 6th place finish amid controversy. We definitely should have received a penalty, in my opinion, for the incident that happened with Gasly, I want to say it was. Pretty sure it was Gasly. Yeah. I should have received a penalty for that. I didn't. I don't know why. And we were able to walk away with a 6th place finish. And mind you, I've been running on the strict rules regulations. So that was a pain in the ass of a race to run. And to not get a penalty there, I don't know why, because it was definitely my fault. I came over to block him, and I touched him, and I put him in the wall, and I got in the wall hard. So hard that I knocked the entire front wing off, and we were somehow managed to finish that race. But I just should have had the penalty there, but I didn't. And it is what it is. Sometimes you don't get to choose your fate. And certainly, I assume I'll get paid back for that at some point later in the season, maybe. But as of right now, we haven't seen it, so maybe we'll see it at Britain, our next race. But until then, move to the French Grand Prix, which was the first time we made it into Q3. Right here was the first ever time we made it to Q3, the French Grand Prix. Excellent job. I believe Russell made it to Q3 once earlier in the season. I think it was Azerbaijan, maybe. I don't know. He might not have. But we had a good race. Strategy kind of played itself out hard, and we had to go into major tire conservation mode towards the end. Without any further ado, though, the French Grand Prix. That was the French Grand Prix. We managed the P7 finish. All of the front runners finished the race, which was a rarity. Usually one of them has a mechanical failure or something, and they end up not finishing the race. But we had a good finish there, and I had a good race. Towards the end, we really had to get into tire conservation mode as they were gone, essentially, and certainly not where we wanted to be. But on to the most recent race, Austria, which was probably one of our better races, even though we didn't finish as high as we did in Azerbaijan. Overall, I feel like this was just a better race for us. We made Q3. qualified 5th, so certainly a fantastic start to the race. But anyway, this is the Austrian Grand Prix.